Welcome to Speakers Guild USA. We are having a webinar today on some of the basics of Canva, and I want to thank you for joining me. So right now you should be seeing my screen, and there is this is the dashboard of Canva. So this is where you will land once you start an account and you go into Canva. So right now you can see we're on the default for all your designs. If I scroll down here, you can see a lot of the designs. In fact, this is the design I used today for social media to promote this event. So these are all of my saved designs. You can save as many as you want and go back and reuse them if you would like to or make changes. I use them as templates. So for instance, I've been working on the Speaker of the Day templates for the members. And so this is how it comes up. Now, I don't create and save each image for each member. This is my template. As soon as I'm finished with this particular speaker, I will download the image, and then I will use this template, take out this speaker's content, and put the next speaker's content in. So you can keep an image and use it just as a template, or you can just keep all the images that you make. But as you can see, it can get kind of crowded here if you save everything. So you might want to just pick and choose what it is you want to save. This is Canva 2.0, not Canva 1.0. This is where Canva is going now. These are images that are shared with me. You can share your images with someone else who has a Canva account. Creating a team is part of the paid package. We won't be talking about that. Your brand is part of the paid package as well. I'll just show you very quickly about your brand. It's letting you brand your colors. So this is one of my dark blues. I can add another color in here. If you have, this is what we call the ASCII code, but if you have the code for your specific colors, you can just put that code down in here, and you can get your graphic designer or your web person to help you with the codes that you need. They are a 6-digit code. And then templates. One of the nice things about Canva, and I've been using Photoshop for a long time. When I worked for McGraw-Hill, I used Photoshop. There is a free imaging software called GIMP, GIMP.com, but it can be as complex as Photoshop. Canva takes a lot of that complexity away from you so that you don't have to worry about it. So here, under finding a template, you can see there's a ton of templates here. If you pick the template that you'd like to use, it pulls it up here. And as you saw, whoops, sorry, that was behind the scenes of the tool I'm using. You see it pulled up the image for me. And now if I want to just change it, all I do is click on the text. And you can see this dark area here. This is what we call the bounding box. And this is where our text is going to go. So what it's telling you right now, just by looking at it, is this is the font it's using. It's an overwhelming number of fonts that you can use in Canva, so you're not going to be at a loss for fonts. This is the font size, so you can make it as big as you'd like. And to change the font size, you would just highlight your text. And it's at a 30, so we'll just take it up to 36. And there's how you can make it bigger if you want to do. Across the board, on anything that you do online, for instance, if you're in a Word document and you're typing and you make an error, let's say you put in a wrong word, you can do a Control Z, so the Control key is on the bottom left-hand side of your keyboard on your computer, and if you hold the Control key down and tap the Z, it will take you back in time to where you were. So that's kind of just a little shortcut trick for you if you're into that. And then these are different pieces that they have put on this image. So you saw this piece has a bounding box. If I pull it, well, I pulled the cup away. If I pull this piece away, so your bounding box, you can see the 4 little dots. That tells you what image you're looking at the moment. See, the heart is an image that has been laid on top of another image. And then this is a shadow image that was created to give the cup that shadow effect. So that's how you can change some of the components if you want. And then I'm using that Control Z feature again. And you can see the Control Z feature will take you all the way back to the original image if you'd like to. So you don't always have to remember what those images said or what they did and what order you did them in. So Control Z is really a nice way to help you go back in time. So let's take an image and start from the beginning. We can come over here on the left-hand side, and these are the default layouts. So again, similar to the templates that you saw when we tapped here on Canva, and we're at the default page that we log into, the Find Templates, when you actually come over to use Canva, you'll use Create a Design is how you'll start. So you just tap Create a Design, and now it gives you some different defaults. And I want to make sure that you understand that the Facebook post, you can see right here, it's 940 pixels by 788 pixels. It's not the same as the social media post that you see right down here. So that social media post is different. Let's see where it is in here. Anyway, you can see how many different designs you can try with that. So you can play with that at some point in time. Here's where your most common designs are. So this is a social media, and you can see below that it's 8. When I roll over it, under the social media title there, in very light text, it's 800 pixels by 800 pixels. That's perfect for Instagram, but you can see here's a presentation one. So 16.9, you probably, unless you're a graphic designer, understand that. But this may be what you would want to use for a PowerPoint presentation. A poster, Facebook cover, flyer. It goes, there's a ton of stuff. You can keep scrolling through here to take a look at all the different items it gives you, but we're just doing the basics today. So we're going to go ahead and create a Facebook post. So let's go ahead and tap the image, double click the image. And now here it comes up and it's ready for you to design. When you're in the design feature here, again, you have a bunch of different templates that you can use. And the way I showed you earlier, how to replace the components on those templates. But let's go ahead and do just a basic, our own image and not use a template so you can see what the specific features are. So we are on templates on the upper left-hand side here. The one below templates is elements, and we're just going to tap elements. Now they'll give you a lot of free images to use. The grids that you see here will break up an image. So this grid would allow you to have 2 vertical images. This one would allow you to have 2 horizontal images. So there's lots to play with here. There's shapes that you can add on. And of course, you just tap the all, you can see more of the shapes, all the way down to charts, illustrations, icons. So just, have fun. Go ahead and play in here. And, nobody's going to see it unless you share it. You can also isolate it up here by your photos. So there are a lot of free photos. There are also some pay for photos that you can use as well. Again, you can also upload your own photos and your own graphics. So this is the graphics section. And these are all the little shapes that are available to you to be able to use when you're putting your image together. So there's a lot in here in the elements. Here's the text. It allows you to decide what text you'd like to use. And then if you want, you can just color your background. So you see we have an untitled Facebook post here. There's a color wheel up here. It gives you a whole bunch of default colors that you can choose from. This is where you can pull in your custom palette, and I believe because the custom palette is active that it's available on the free version. So you can use one of these colors or you can choose a custom color here, and all you do is tap the plus, and this is what we call a color picker. So you simply choose the range of color, and then you can drag this little baby and see how it's completely coloring the square for us. I can lighten it up and head a little bit towards a turquoise if I want by using this feature. And again, this is that color code that I used earlier to be able to show you that each of the colors you have on your website has a color code that has these 6, either a combination of numbers and letters. So if you don't know how to find out what your color code is, you can ask your designer or your website person what color codes they're using if you want to have it branded. So we've given it a background. I can add an element to it. I'd like to know where all those other elements went. Oh, so we obviously defaulted to lines. Let's X that out and we'll get back to all the other graphics. So a lot of times I use the colors. Let me see what I've already uploaded that I can use. These are my all my designs. There they are. Oh, so it is just this. I was just testing to see if I could give the background some sort of grainy look. So let's go back out to, oh, there it is over there. We're just going to go ahead and see, because I stopped working on it for a moment, it's automatically saving it here in my saved designs. So you can see it's generating the thumbnail right now. So there's the 3 dots. I'm just going to go ahead and I'm not going to make it. I could make a copy if I want. I could move it to a folder. At the free version, you only get 2 folders. I try not to keep everything that I design, or you can move it to trash. Or you can just tap on it and it opens up the design again for you. So I would like to use a kind of a cute background. So I am going to take one of these elements. So I like this background and I can take this away. And these are just the boxes around them. I'm just highlighting the box. And then I get the 4 arrows that you see right there. Just going to tap again, and I'm going to delete. And you can see there's a fine line right here. That's the bounding box. I'm going to tap that too. Now all I have is the background, and that's what I want to use. So if we come back up to the elements, and I can look at the shapes if I want. I use these shapes a lot in what I'm doing. So here's a heart now that we've put on it. Now the heart has a default color, and you can tell because you come up to this upper left-hand area, and here's the color box. So let's say I want to do a new color, and this orange is in this current color palette. So these colors that it's giving me right now, these are all part of this image, and it's pulling those colors out, which makes it really easy for me to coordinate a matching color. So I'm going to recolor the heart. As you can see, I have put the bounding boxes on it just by tapping on the heart. And you can always tell because there's the where you can pull it to resize it if you want. And again, if you don't like the resize, you can just do a Control Z with your left hand. So let's go ahead and let's take the blue that they have and make a nice big heart. Now, if I want to make the heart bigger, I just tap on the heart. And again, I go down to where in the lower right-hand corner, you can see my cursor has split into the arrows on both ends, which means I can go ahead and drag this open to a larger size. Now it's off-centered. If you just put your cross-haired arrows in the middle, we're holding down our left mouse. So my index finger's on my left mouse button, and I'm just going to pull it. Now you see these purple lines. These purple lines are telling me that I have it centered in the middle as far as the height goes. But I'd like to make sure I get the vertical as well. So I've shifted it to the left a tad, and now you can see that it's perfectly centered because you can see the purple lines have crossed each other. That's how you know that it's centered. And all I have to do is let go of my mouse, and my heart is now perfectly centered. If you wanted to add anything more to the heart, you could. We could take graphics over here, and we can look at some of the different graphics that they have, which don't seem to be much. We can put a photo. Oh, that's why the graphics. I'm sorry. I keep going back to this. You have to knock out the shapes up here. That's why. So now you can put in little decorations in here. So for instance, if I wanted to add a play button for YouTube, I could, but you see the play button here on the left, and that's, you have to pay for that. So there are free icons you can use and icons that you pay for. So you can just take a look. Let's look at the illustrations. So you kind of get an idea, and they don't always put all the free icons at the top. They mix them up in between. So, I like this one. So I'm going to tap that one. Now this has come over onto my template, but it's a little bit too large. So I'm going to pull it down in size a bit. Oh, and now you can see its full look as a square. Again, I've got it in the middle because you can see the purple bars that intersect in the middle. So now we know that it is perfectly centered. And if we want, we can also pull it out to the side a bit. But you see, as you pull it out and the image grows longer, you lose the dots on the outer circle of this image. So this looks like to be just about a perfect sized image. It's going to pull it down a little bit, up a little bit. So you can see how you can just play around with it. And if you don't like it, tap in the middle, delete it, and put it back in again. Oh, also, one thing I didn't show you when we put the heart in is, if you notice, there's this little circle bar or little circle dot down below the image. This lets us tilt the image to the left or the right. So all I have to do is circle it around. So let's say I want this dot at the bottom and that white dot and these two white dots on the top on the sides. I could do it that way. And then I have all my dots aligned in the way that I'd like to align them, but it doesn't look centered. So I'm going to go and tap on it again, hold down my mouse, and I want to make sure it's in the middle. And you can see there's the bounding line that's vertical in the middle of the heart. And because I've twisted it, it won't give me a bounding line. Oh, yep, there it does, right there. So I have the crosshairs right in the middle of the circle where you see the arrow of my cursor. I just let go, and that's perfectly centered now. So let's say you want to add a little text. So we come over here to the left-hand side, and we add our text. And what I normally do, you can put this, grab one of these babies, but then you're going to be replacing text. I'd rather just design it the way I want to design it. So I'm simply going to add the text box up here. Here's my text box. And I can say, there's my first Canva image. It's awfully small, so I'm going to triple click it or do a Control A to highlight all of it, but you want to highlight all your text. And now you get the chance to take a look at the different types of fonts that they have. So there are plenty of fonts in here for you to play with. I'm going to look for one that's unusual, so I'm going to take this one. And then it's also not large enough for me, so I'm going to come up here. And you can see I can scroll down to a specific size. So that's great. It's resized it, but now it's misplaced. So I've got my cursor inside the box. I'm just going to get it till it's right at the top. And then I'm just going to bring it up here. And now it's in the middle because you see the crosshairs in the middle of the heart. I can let it go if I want it to be different. There's my bounding box right there, and my on the left side there, so I know that I have the text. I can now pull it apart, and maybe what I want to do is move it now that I'm thinking about it. So I'm tapping on the box. Let me tap out. And what I want to do is use my crosshairs to hover over the text box until you see that you get the little bounding lines. And now I'm just going to bring it over here. And I would love to change its angle. So maybe do this. And now I see my text may be a little too large. So I come into my text box. I get the cursor, double or triple click, 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 click. It highlights everything for me. I'm just going to make this a bit smaller. Now say that I don't want to go down to 48 from 56. You see that the 56 is highlighted. So I can make a change with my keyboard. So let's try 50 instead of 56. So I just type in 50 and then hit the enter. And now it's down to 50. But that's still too big. So let's try 48. That's too big. Okay, here's 42. And now I've got it positioned the way I want. And those are the basics of putting together an image in Canva. The one other thing I like to do with all of my images, I'm going to add another text box. And I'm going to bring this down to the bottom. And I'm just going to put in my, come on. So I want to put in my URL, but you see the box is not large enough to hold my URL. So just find those little pieces of white ovals on the side. Now it's stretched out to one side, and I'm going to just go to my crosshairs hold down my left mouse key, and I can bring it up here. And now it's centered because you see the line going from the top to the bottom that has, it's in the middle. So I'm just going to let it go. And, you know, it might be nice to color the background of this box. So let's see if we can do that. That changed the font. I thought I could fill the back of the box, but it doesn't look like it. Yeah, I thought I could fill that, but I can't. So what I would do then is I would make it bold, and then you have your URL at the bottom. So these are the basics of putting Canva images together. This is the free version. Unless you're a designer, you don't really need a version other than the free one. And then lastly, what I'd like to show you is on these templates, I wanted to show you how much you can do with Canva. So you can do, if you have a book that you're doing, you can do a book cover in here, make brochures, business cards. One of the things that I really like to do is it usually lets you put together an ebook. So it might be reports might be the one that let you put together an ebook. I'm just looking quickly. And that was one of the things that I really liked on Canva 1.0. But you can create gift certificates if you need them. There's all kinds of things. Letters, you know, you can put together newsletters that you can put a nice cover on. You can use the template newsletter, but you could also add pages to it. So if I decided that I want to, I can't believe they took this away. It was really cool. It was an ebook. Oh, look, you got all kinds of stuff to choose from. Anyway, it was let's look at reports. So if you just picked one, an annual report, and if we use that template, and now you see you have pages. You can add new pages. So this is a great way for you if you want to be able to create a ebook, because what happens is if we go back to my designs, and we pull up this one that we just created, the little card for whatever, you can come over here to edit. Let's see. It used to be right up here. That's not going to work. Oh, let's make a change. That's why it's not there. So while you're working, you can always save your item. There it is, under design. So you can save all the changes. And then once you make sure you've saved all the changes, if you come over to this arrow, this will let you download it. A PNG is a really large file. Normally, the only time we use a PNG extension is if the background, we want the background to be transparent. So if I had used this square and put this heart on it, I might want this square to be transparent. So I would not use this particular background. I would use a color. Or is it not? Whoa! I'm using my Control Z to bring it back. Oh, that's because we put this image in here. There it goes. Okay, so, oh, it's only going to okay. Because I didn't use a standard color, I used a print thing, so you can't take it out. But this will allow you to, once you've saved it, so if you've come over to your design and you've saved the changes, then you can download this. You don't want a PNG. You probably want a JPEG. If you were doing a ebook, or if you were creating an item like a business card that you wanted to be printed at a print shop, you would use probably a PDF print, which is high quality. A PDF standard would be what you would use for a digital ebook or a digital report that is not going to be professionally printed. But if you do want to take this image to somebody like a Staples, Kinko's or something and have them print it for you, or your own printer, you'd want to take the high quality print. So then you download the image and it's there for you to use. So Canva is a really great tool. I'll follow up in a couple of weeks with a Canva Advanced uh, workshop for you so that you'll be able to see Canva Advanced. But that is what Canva is. And yes, this is being recorded. So I look forward to posting this for you. And I'm getting used to using this as a brand new tool, the video tool that I'm using. So thanks for hanging with me. And if there were glitches on your end that you saw, if you'll reach out to me, Deborah, Debra, at speakersguildusa.com. I would love to know what your experience is about this. Also, my phone number is 760-685-1960 if you want to talk to me. And then, of course, we'd always love to have you visit speakersguildusa.com and see if it's a nice tool for you. We work with business owners who use speaking as a way to market their businesses at local organizations. So thanks for spending this half hour with me. I really appreciate your time.